The Blacklist is James Spader's character's list of criminals that he wants to catch that he's accumulated over the course of his 25-year criminal career. He's been the most wanted criminal of the FBI. And he turns himself in and he says, I want to work with you guys and I want to catch these criminals with you, but I have one condition: I'll only speak with Elizabeth Keene. And that's where I come in. I play Elizabeth Keene, and my character is on her first day as a psych profiler for the FBI, and she's just thrust into this really extraordinary circumstance where she's working with the best criminal in the world that usually would take me like 30 years of paying my dues to do, and she tries to handle herself without any experience under her belt.
How's the relationship between your two characters? How would you describe it?
The way that the relationship starts off in this series is that you don't really know what the connection is between these two. He comes, he requests her, and you don't know why. And neither do I, neither does Elizabeth. So I have to uncover that mystery myself, as well as help him to catch these criminals that he's come with some sort of vendetta against.
Some people have compared it to Silence of the Lambs, like some of it already. Do you see that connection at all?
I understand the dynamic in Silence of the Lambs carries over a little bit, but the difference is, I mean, there are a lot of differences, but I think that the main difference in ours is that Reddington is both dangerous, and you feel like he could also be a good guy. Like he sort of muddies the water and your perspective of what a criminal and what a villain really is, you know? You don't know if he comes here to help Elizabeth or to hurt her. And it's up to him and up to the series to either redeem him or cast him out as this Hannibal Lecter-like villain.
What drew you into Elizabeth and the character?
I was just immediately captivated by Elizabeth Keene. She just jumped off the page. She's so well written. It's just really rare for someone in my field, for an actress to find a woman that's written this way, and then written by John Bokenkamp, who's a male writer, but he writes all these great protagonists for Halle Berry, for Angelina Jolie, and so it's a real kind of honor for me to be working with him. And then we brought on some great female writers from Dexter and so forth, so it's going to be a really smart team writing a female voice for TV who's a heroine, which is exciting. Yeah.
Can you talk us through the audition process?
I can tell you, yeah. I auditioned for it, and I fought for it. It was like going to battle, just like I think going to work every day on the show is going to be like. I knew I wanted it. I had to own it even before I went in to meet with Joe Carnahan and all the creators. And there was just something inside my heart and in my soul that said it is time for me to play a hero, and I want to be heroic in this crazy arena. And it's very difficult to go in and audition, I think, for anyone who has any kind of vulnerability. And the key is to let that vulnerability shine out and to be completely honest about who you really are. You're human, you're fallible, but you're brave, and you're trying to fight for something that you believe in. And I believed in this story, and I think that's ultimately how I ended up being able to collaborate with these people, is because they saw that it was that important to me, and something was shining from deeper inside, you know? Yeah.
What's it been like working with James Spader?
James Spader, I think that anybody who's seen his performances and his characters would imagine that it would be very, very intimidating, and I did the same thing. I had this illusion of this sort of scary enigma of a man. And then I got to work, and he was so kind and so generous and humble, and I really don't know that I could have done the job and been as comfortable in it without James Spader the man. And then the dynamic wouldn't have been as exciting without James Spader the enigma. And he was able to really walk that line, you know.
How is it being here at Comic-Con with the show? It has a big presence here, obviously, so you're kind of, it's still kind of mysterious and everything, but how has, the reception been?
Oh, it's been so exciting and amazing because yesterday we premiered it for an audience, some press, some just fans who were very excited to see it, and apparently there were all these thousands of RSVPs, and some people weren't able to get in, and not only was there an enthusiasm to see the show, but I was backstage for the third act of the show, ready to do the panel, and I could hear them laughing in all the right parts and clapping in all the right parts, and it was coming from just a real support and enthusiasm for the show. And then when they introduced all of us to come on the panel, I could just feel the support of the audience, and that's just the best feeling in the world. I mean, there's a reason why there's a tradition of actors bowing to the audience, because it's just like bowing to a king. It's like, thank you. You make me feel so good for like all the hard work. So it was awesome.
I spoke with one of the executive producers earlier this week, and he kind of hinted at some darkness that we're going to get in Elizabeth as well.
Oh, yeah.
So she's the heroine of the story,
great.
but can you talk about the decision to kind of add some darkness to
You know
it?
what, Adam, you're making my day, because this is a discussion that I had with the creatives, but I didn't know that it was really sinking its teeth in. I think that Elizabeth is really vulnerable at first, and then because of all of the things that happen to her through the course of the series, she becomes more callous. And when you think that she's like Reddington's little play toy that he's like toying with, but I think she turns from that into Reddington's soldier, and she just gets strong and callous and totally capable, and you have no doubt that if he sends her in, the job's going to get done. So, and then I like that, and then trying to find criminals that can then one up her, and these becoming battles of wit and strength. And watching people's prowess. I love watching that kind of thing, and I think that's where Elizabeth is headed.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Megan, with so many pilots airing, like when the Blacklist is airing, how do you think the show will really stand out and grab viewers and keep them invested when there are so many other shows? Like
the thing about a TV show is that it's got to be lightning in a bottle. You can have great actors, you can have great writing, you can have the best time on TV, but if you don't have that special, magical spark, then for some reason it doesn't live. And I just feel like all the elements come together. It's the first time in my life that I've been a part of something where I don't take responsibility for this, but I feel honored to be a part of something that does have that magic,
What kind of ride is the audience in for this first season?
If you've seen the pilot, you know. If you haven't, you should probably watch it at 10 p.m. on September 23rd on NBC. But it's like the most thrilling thing I've ever seen them do on TV, because I was first of all shocked when I came to set and they had real explosions. 4 or 5 of them, and you just go, okay, they're really turning up the volume on this one. They're going for the gold, and I think that's a cool element. It's a big element of our piece. And then you pull the cameras in really close up to James Spader's face, and you have the psychological thriller aspect of the piece. You have the internal thoughts of the characters that you don't really know how to read, and you have all of these hidden agendas and secrets that I think are going to create an incredible experience for the audience.
How do you guys plan to parcel out those secrets? Like, for example, why Reddington chose Keen and all that?
It's like, I wish I could tell you, it's a mystery to me as well. Every time I pick up a new script, it's going to be a new surprise, which for me is an exciting part of the job. I wouldn't really want to work on a show where you know what the next episode's going to be, because it's just like the last Law & Order episode, you know what I mean? I want to work on a show where you pick up the script and you go, oh, she does that? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I didn't expect this. I thought maybe, but that totally adds up. And I totally trust these writers to write a storyline that has continuity, that you can look back at every single episode and say, oh yeah, that was leading to this, but then you never really know what to expect. So.
Hey Megan, what has been the most challenging thing so far that you've encountered, like with the production and with being in the show? What has been the most challenging?
Well, the challenging thing about production is, the hours and what they expect from you physically. I am 100% married to and committed to this job, and you have to be. You have to sacrifice a lot to do something like this. 14-hour days, 5 days a week. You know, you start at 6 a.m. on a Monday morning, and you maybe end at 3 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and then you get up at 5 a.m. on Monday morning and start all over again. And you do that all year. And I love it. It's not for everybody. But I mean, my life, to me, it's exciting, you know.
So has that been like the best part, would you say? Or is there one like standout moment like through this experience?
This whole experience has been, what's great about it is that it asks more of you. You know, you think you've given your all to something, and then it says, give a little more. You know, today I need you to absolutely sob over the death of someone you love. Let's go, come on. And you're like, okay. It's like being someone in a never-ending marathon. It's fine. Maybe someday I'll retire. Not sure.
Now, assuming things go really well, how many episodes are we going to get this first season?
You know, you'll get the standard. What is it? 22. 20,
Okay, so
you know, if it goes really well.
So now with I guess with this kind of drama, I mean, one of the difficult things about having a network television show that runs 22 episodes is being able to keep the pace up and keep the action going for that long. I mean, that's a lot of episodes, you know, to keep that going. Can you talk about, I mean, maybe some plans that you guys have, or plans to kind of tease things out a little bit to keep the action going for 22 episodes?
These are really questions for the creators. My job is more, right now I'm thinking more on like a macro level of where do I want her to go physically, mentally. I know what's going to happen to her. I know her whole life is just going to get turned upside down and on its ear. But how does she respond to that? And how does she respond to that in a way that the audience and the people that we're doing this for are going to connect to? And people want to see someone who takes adversity and makes the best thing they can out of it. And I think that what she's going to do is choose to take all of these blows in stride, help them make her stronger. And with that strength, she's going to try to take down people who have bad intentions toward innocent people. And I think that's what people in America and around the world want to see, is someone who's standing up for the good of mankind and the good of people who just want to live their lives, you know, when she can't live her life anymore.
As September gets closer, because you're obviously mostly invested in this project, how do your nerves feel as you get closer to the premiere? How do you deal with it emotionally? You know, wondering how people are going to receive it. Does it play into your psyche at all?
The premiere doesn't play as much into my psyche, but I understand the question. It's kind of hinting at like, how does someone psychologically cope with such high stakes? And that's a good one, because I think that there's a parallel there between me and how I'm coping with this new experience in my life, creative and business life, and this woman who's going down this path that no one can really conceive of how she's psychologically dealing with it. So I think that you do the best you can every single day, just like everybody else does. And it ultimately, challenge draws you closer and closer to yourself. And that's why it's really valuable for me to go through something that's so extreme, because I have to like constantly check back in. How you doing, Megan? You good? You good? Okay. Keep going? Okay. Let's go.
Do you have any vices that help you do that, like yoga or?
I have a lot of healthy vices. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like meeting farmers who grow my food. I like eating healthy. Yeah. I like doing Krav Maga to get out, like, there's like this, sometimes you just get frustrated and you just have to like go and do something physical, get it out of your bones. And that's also something that helps feed the character, because
Does that play into it? Is your character, like, is there physicality, like action involved?
well, that's why I'm doing it. I want her to be really agile, and you want her to be able to do anything, and I would like ultimately like there to be more intricate fight scenes in the future where you see her exercising and preparing to take on this new challenge, and then you see her really kicking butt later. And so I'm doing Krav Maga to prepare for that. Lots of training, swimming. I'm an athlete. We have this big rock wall in my new gym. I'm going to climb that thing all the time and be like a little spider.
How do you feel like the show addresses the issue of terrorism? You know, terrorists, like, I mean, obviously that's something that's like in America, in our culture, you know, like now it's like always a thought, you know, and it's something the show seems to address, criminality and terrorism. So
I think that that's always been a really interesting theme. Like, I love The Wire. That question, it's not terrorism, it questions what is criminal and what isn't. You've got good guys and bad guys on both sides of the law. And that's sort of where Reddington sits. You're like, he's a good guy, he's a bad guy, what are his intentions? I love that question. And I love that we're going to write towards that question. You know, what's good? What? I got a frog in my throat. What's good, what's bad? So...
Just a silly one, but I know that you've got 4 executive producers that are all named John.
The Johns.
How do you differentiate? Do you have little nicknames for each of them, or?
No, I call our producers the Johns when they're not around, and when I see them, I got like Fox. I call Bokenkamp John. I call Eisendrath John to his face. I also call him John behind his back. I call him Eisendrath, I guess. But you know, it's really strange that they're all Johns, right?
Yeah.